Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the Sean Khan YouTube channel. Today what I'm doing is I'm showing you all how to go from the small screen on your 2021 to 2023 F150 to this big massive unit right here. This is a 12-inch screen. This is a factory screen. This uses sync just like your normal radio that comes with the truck. Has Apple CarPlay, has Android Auto. I'm going to show you guys how to switch out to this unit and do it for cheap, because I know that there are companies out there that sell this swap for like $2,500 or something like that. That's not the way my pockets are built. My pockets are built to save money, and I have a little about $700 into all this stuff. So I'll show you guys exactly what you need, and I'll show you guys how to actually install it on your truck. I didn't see any videos that detailed everything fully, so I'm going to lay out all the part numbers below in the description. And I'm going to go step by step as I install this so you guys can see exactly how to install this. Do it the cheap way and do it for about $700 instead of $2,500. All right, let's get to it. All right, so here's my 2021 F150. This is a STX model, which is basically an XL. I have upgraded some stuff on it. As you can see, it doesn't look like a XL anymore. Got some nice headlights, got some factory OEM fog lights. 360 mirrors on there, paint match handles. This is the screen that my truck came with. All right, now it's good. It's a good size screen. You got Apple CarPlay, stuff works on it. It's nice, but I'm gonna upgrade this to the 12-inch screen. It basically takes up this whole area right here, so you have to move these down to the bottom. I'll show you guys all the parts that you need. It's pretty easy. It's all factory OEM parts that you end up using, and it'll make it a lot nicer. All right, so explaining to you guys what you need. You'll need the screen itself. You can buy these on eBay for about 600 bucks. Some of them come with the buttons, some of them come without the buttons. You can remove these if these aren't the buttons that you have. What I'm going to end up doing is actually removing these buttons and selling them separately because I have the buttons. But you want to make sure, look and see how many buttons you have across your truck and order the radio that has enough button slots. So if you have 3 slots for your buttons like this one, order one with 3 slots, and then you can take these buttons out and put your buttons in, sell these buttons, make some of that money back. Also, some of them will have this blank. You don't necessarily need this. But if you have the trailer thing, you can buy it with it. Or like me, I already have this, so I'm going to take this out and sell it. And then the button to open the thing on the side of the truck. So you'll need this radio. Just make sure you get it with the right settings. This is a used kit, so they sell some of these things out in Michigan from the people that actually manufacture these parts for Ford. They have a bunch of extra ones, so they sell them out there. It is used, but like looking at it, it looks like a brand new part to me, so works out. You're gonna need something like this. So depending on whether you have a center console in your truck, there's 2 different part numbers. I'll post the one below. This is if you have a center console, yours will look like this. There's another part number for if you don't have a center console. And again, don't worry about these things on the left and right because you can swap yours out. Like for instance, I don't have this power one, so I'm going to take this out and swap it with what my truck came with. You'll need 2 wires. Well, a couple wires. So you'll need these. These are fuse jumpers. These are what we use to jump to get the power for the head unit. You can buy these at my link below. I actually sell these on my store. Pretty cheap. And then you'll need a couple things from Ford. So this is a cable from Ford. Here's the part number, is the ML3Z one. This plugs into the back of the screen. And then it also plugs into the APIM, the APIM, which is, we're going to keep our factory APIM. So that way we can still get our updates and everything smooth like that. I don't like removing the APIM because if you put a new APIM, you have to get it programmed and stuff like that. I don't like messing with any of that. We will have to make a little modification to this cord, but I'll show you guys how to make the modification to this cord. It's super easy. Anybody can do it. And then you'll need this cord as well. This is a WPT TAC 982. This also plugs into the back of the screen. It is a 4-pin plug. We will only end up using 2 of the pins of this 4-pin plug, but there it is right there, so you can see that. I'll show you. I'll put a wiring diagram on there whenever I get to wiring this bad boy up. But yeah, these things right here. Basically, what these do is these allow you to tap into your fuse box and just extend that. So you basically remove a fuse, put this thing down in where the fuse goes, put a fuse in here and then another fuse in here and then run this wire. This will pull power from that fuse block. Basically what you want to do is you have this trim piece right here. You want to pull it out from the truck. You can just kind of grab on, or you can use a tool to do it. Either way, I just grab it and you just kind of pull it. It has a bunch of clips that holds it in. I'll push this button so I can have more space in there. Trim tool does help though. So you can see I have a couple different trim tools. You just got to figure out which one works best for what you're trying to do. Be careful not to scratch anything. So yeah, you get that piece off. It's kind of a pain, as you can see. All right, so after you pop this outer piece off, you will have to pop this piece here off as well. You can see where it kind of runs along here. And then once you pop this off, it'll expose the screws that you'll have to remove. So just pop this piece off. It is a pretty long, big piece. Just be careful taking it off. All right, so once you get that trim piece removed, you get this trim piece removed. I recommend starting over here. You can shove a panel tool under here and then up on top as well. You can pop that out, and then these all pop out pretty easily. And then after that, remove, there's a little tray that sets up here, a little like plastic rubber tray that sits there. So remove that. You can pop a couple of these. There are 2 bolts down here that you have to remove, and then you can pop the rest of this panel out. So you're going to remove all these 7mm bolts. There's some up here as well. And then there's going to be 2 down here. So you see these silver ones? You'll have to remove those as well. All right, so if you're doing like I'm doing and you're taking this piece off, you'll have to remove this trim panel. It's easiest to start back here. Just put a trim tool in between here and this will pop out. It pops out this way. And then you'll be able to easily pop this tool out. It came out so easy, I didn't even record it. And then for the other side, it'll probably be about the same. It was going in between here, but actually it goes in between the silver part if you have the silver part on your truck. So you just go like this, pop this out, and then it'll pull away like this. You can see it's kind of hung up right here. Boom, there you go. All right, and then this bottom piece, so as long as you've taken all these screws out, you can pop this bottom piece out and away. You'll see you have a bunch of electrical connections on the back. So you want to just push those down. Sorry, you see my little band-aid here. Dealing with these trim panels, you know, sometimes you hit your fingers, but yeah, you just push all these little things down and you'll be able to remove these electrical connectors. They're kind of different, some of them. So like this one, like that. This one's on the top. This is weird looking right here. This one might take me a minute to figure out. So, actually, I don't even think I'm going to unplug this one. I'm going to leave this plugged in, so it's a weird plug. I'm just going to remove these bolts because this is going to bolt into the other truck. So guys, like I said, you're going to remove this back piece because this is going to go onto the new panel that you bought for the bottom, because you have to move these controls down. So this is a 6mm. Be careful with these. These are a little more brittle than the 7s that we've been removing. And it looks like there are 4 bolts holding this one on. You got here, 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 and here. All right, so I was wrong. There's actually 5 bolts, so there's one here in the middle. All right, so after you unbolt all 5 of these, so there's a little clip right here that you have to basically pull this clip and then pull these out, and then the controls will come out. Make sure that you unplug these connections that we just unplugged, because they actually didn't need to be unplugged. And you can set that to the side. you're going to want to, for this piece, so for the new piece, you want to make sure that you have the same controls in these same spots. So there are blanks on the other one, so you can remove these from here and move them over to your new one. The way you remove those, so on the back right here, there's like little tabs that you push down, and then you can pull it out from the front once all of the sides of these are pushed down. So you see right there, you push them down and then it comes out of the front like that. All right, so the old piece is at the top. As you can see, there's only that one thing for the controls. The new piece is at the bottom. As you can see, there are two things for the controls. If you look at the radio, so since we're going with the bigger screen, we'll have to move these buttons to the bottom. So that's why this new piece has the buttons integrated on the bottom piece. So easy swap. All right, so on the left side where this little 7mm is kind of tucked, goes on the around the speedometer. So you will have to get up in there with something like this, like a panel popper, and pop that clip that holds this piece into this piece, because this piece is normally behind there. And then you'll have this piece and it'll be pretty much free. All right, so you have all these connections for these buttons, so you have to disconnect the electrical connections before you can pop the buttons out. All right, so on these wires, how you pop these out, there's a little tab on the driver's side of these, so like towards the driver's side, you just squeeze that little tab and then pull out and you'll be able to get that out. So there's that little tab that I was talking about. I don't know if it'll focus on it, but you just have to hit that. Make sure you keep them aligned to like where they're supposed to be and you'll be good. All right, so this is what it looks like when you get this panel removed. What you will have to do is you'll have to go back here and you have these 6mm bolts holding these controls on. You'll have to take these controls out and swap it over to the other piece. All right, so we're gonna take the screen off now. There's 4 bolts. They are 7mm? Yeah, 7mm. Just take those all off and you'll get this screen off. All right, so once you get the screen unbolted, this is what the back of it looks like. There's one connector on this small screen. You're gonna just basically remove that and let it dangle there for now. All right, so this is the new screen. You can see I already put the buttons in where they need to be. This screen though, there are 2 different connections, and on the smaller screen, there's only 1 connection. So for this plug over here, the 4-pin, it's that part number, WPT TAC 982, that plugs into there. But before you plug it in, we have to wire this up, all right? So I'm gonna put a wiring diagram on the screen so you can see which one of these 4 wires does what. We will only use 2 wires from this connector. And then this other spot, we have the other cable, which I'll show you how to plug that one in. All right, so this is the other cable that I told you that you all need. You can see the part number right there, the ML3T TAC whatever. This will, the pink side will plug into the back of your screen. As you can see though, the cable that we're replacing, so you see this pink side, this is the new cable. You see it has 4 pins in there and then 2 pins off to the side. This is going to replace this cable right here. So here's the blue side of the cable. So the blue side of this cable is different as well. What you'll have to do is you'll have to modify this new cable, right? So you can see that there's 4 pins here and then 2 to the side. The 2 to the side is just a power and a ground, the red and the black. So you'll have to modify kind of this part that plugs into the APIM. This is the APIM right here, this silver part. So you'll have to remove this one right here. Once you remove this, you can see why we have to modify it. So you see this only has the 4 pins right there, and those are the 4 pins that we need to pull from the APIM, but we have to modify this connector. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to snip these 2 wires, the small black one and the small red one, and then we have to trim this little piece off of here, this little blue piece off to the side. So you see we need the 4 pins, we don't need these 2 pins right here. So you can trim these with really anything. The only problem is they don't plug all the way in the way it is. So you have to remove those to get them out of the way. So normally you would just plug in right here, but the problem is these keep it from going in all the way. So you have to trim this piece off the side. Make sure when you cut these back that you leave a little bit of space, because we will have to run this red one. We'll have to use some heat shrink, make the wire longer, and then run it to the fuse block, which I'll show you all how to do that. And then the ground, the black wire, we'll have to run to a ground back behind the screen, which is easy to do as well. Remember, when you do this modification, do not modify the pink side. The pink side plugs into the back of the screen, and it needs this piece to the side because it needs the power and the ground from this pink piece as well. So only modify this blue side and only take these parts back right here. All right, so this is what the blue piece is going to look like when you modify it. So like I said, just snip these two wires, the small black and small red wire, and then I took like a razor blade knife type deal and just kind of cut down into here. It's soft plastic, but you want to get this smooth. And then to know if you got it done right, it'll click into place. If it clicks into place, you're good. Go ahead and unclick this though, because it'll make it easier to wire the other stuff. And then I'll show you where you're going to wire these into. All right, so what we're going to do on this harness, again, this is the blue connector that plugs into the A pin. This is the ground wire. We're basically going to just extend that wire to make it a little bit longer so we can ground it just behind the radio. So you only need about a foot or so, not even really, maybe 6 to 8 inches of wire for the ground. Make sure that the wire is either the same size or a little bit bigger when you're dealing with the ground. It's fine. And then I'm going to basically put these together and heat shrink them. So I'll show you what it looks like after I do that. All right, so this is what it'll look like on the negative side. I basically just twisted those wires together, use some heat shrink, pull on them, make sure they're tight. And then on the other end, you're going to want to strip this wire back, and you're going to connect basically a little round connector to this so that you can piggyback off of another ground behind your truck, and I'll show you which ground I'm going to use. All right, so like I said, you have the black and white, or the black and red wire running off of this blue wire. I basically just put these together with those, and then I put heat shrink on them, and I taped them up all there all nice. The black wire is going to run to a ground. So you see I have this wired up here to this ground. This is the other connector that I was talking about. So this connector is also going to be a power and ground. The problem with this one is it is not color-coded. It's all green wires, which is kind of confusing, kind of tough. So you have to look at how the connector is, right? The part where it has the little press down thing to plug it in. So if you look at that with that up, right? With this facing you, the rightmost wire is going to be the ground wire. And then the leftmost wire is going to be the power wire. I'll show you where you're going to wire these two. So I wired the ground wires together because they're just going to go to the same ground back behind the radio. But the powers are going to go down to the same location down in the fuse box, but they're going to wire into different fuses specifically, okay? So with that, I have these wires all heat shrink together, and I'm going to go ahead and plug these in. Plug this into the A pin, plug this into the back of the screen, and then I'm going to run this black wire and hook it to the ground, and I'm going to run both of these red power wires down to the fuse box and show you which fuses you're going to tap into for which specific connectors. All right, so I have this plugged into the A pin, and then I'm going to take the two wires, the two ground wires that I wired together to this. There is a 8mm that holds this onto here. So I removed that 8mm. I'm going to put this on here and then reattach it. All right, so for this connector right here, the WPT982, I'm going to take so I already put the negative on there. You can see what it looks like. It's on there with that little yellow thing right there. Now the red side, the red wire, the power wire, I'm going to basically run through here. You can take out the glove box. It makes it a little easier to route this wire. Just make sure it's down and kind of out of the way of the glove box, so the glove box will catch it. And then it'll come out down here. So down here you have a fuse box. All right, so you can see the fuse box right there. The fuse box has numbers. The two numbers that we're going to be using are fuse block number 29. It's going to be this this right here, this 15, and then this one down here, this is 36 right here. So we'll use 36 and 29. So this is the wire that comes from WPT 982. So you're going to strip that back, and then you're going to take one of these. This lets you piggyback off of the fuse block, and you want to put that 15 down in here, and then I'm going to run a 20. So the 20 is going to go to WPT 982, and this is going to plug into fuse 29. Again, I say this connector right here, the positive one, will go to fuse block 29 on this. So you can see 29 is the one that is higher. That 15 right there, I'm going to pull that and plug it into this. All right, and for the power wire coming off of this other harness, the harness that plugs into the APEM, the blue wire, I'm going to run that wire the same way. Bring it down here. Take the fuse out of block 36, put the fuse in here along with this 20 amp fuse that I put in there, and then put this back in there. All right, so what you want to do is plug everything back in as it came apart and put all the panels back, and you'll be good. You can see that I have this thing working. So I know some of the trucks that actually came with this big screen, they don't have what's called full screen Apple CarPlay. So it's kind of funny that we're running on the smaller APEM and it still works. It's nice. The screen is super responsive. It's actually like quicker than the other screen somehow. My other screen kind of like lagged, but with the big screen, it's like super responsive. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you have questions, make sure you guys hit me up. There's also a guy that helped me on the 2021 Plus F150 group that I want to give him a shout out. So that guy's name is John Gore. I'll link his Facebook page down below. He was super helpful. I had a couple questions during the install process that he was able to help me out with. He's an awesome resource to the community, and it's great having people like him that help people out. And they're, some people like that are like that in the community, and they just want to make money and stuff like that. Dude, John, he just wants to like help people out. He's just a good dude. So shout out to John Gore for answering all my questions. And if you're thinking about doing this, definitely do it. You could be all in about $700 and have an awesome screen on a base model truck with cloth seats, So thanks for watching Sean O'Connor YouTube channel. See you all next time.